Hey everybody, it's time for another gaming vlog. And for those of you who aren't aware, this is a little series I do that's basically a channel update. Just talk a little bit about games that I'm playing, things that I'm planning to make in terms of content for the channel, progress on the game that I'm currently working on, and life in general. For those of you who aren't into that sort of thing, there's plenty of new content on the channel, especially this past month since the last gaming vlog, and I'd highly recommend you go check that out. I'm sure you will find something you will love. For the rest of you, welcome! Today we're showing a little bit of the latest Alpha 13.7 build for 7 Days to Die as our backdrop for this vlog. As usual, this doesn't have anything in particular to do with what I'm going to talk about here. I just like to have something in the background for you guys to watch while I ramble. I will say, though, I am pretty pleased to see the progress that the Fun Pimps have been making on this game, especially because I haven't really looked at 7 Days in the past few alpha builds, and coming from Alpha 9, which was the last one that I seriously took a look at, this is a pretty big jump forward in the progress of the development of this game, as far as I can tell. But having only spent a little bit of time with it, basically just enough to get this footage and slap it together for this, I can't really make any sort of final judgment on it as an overall state of the game. But I definitely did have a little bit of fun running around here, beating up cotton plants and making hot outfits or some such nonsense. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to talk about is just the fact that there has been a ton of new content on the channel here in January 2016. Basically, even leading up to the end of last year, I've been on kind of a tear in terms of putting out videos on a pretty regular basis. I've actually been doing a lot of experimenting with series of videos, basically shooting a bunch of footage and then breaking it up into more highly edited segments that I can then release throughout the course of a given week. I don't think I'm actually making as much content as I used to overall in terms of video length, but I'm definitely happier with the quality of the content that I've been putting on the channel this past month. And I feel like the whole methodology of working on stuff on a weekend and then kind of breaking it up into little pieces and releasing those pieces throughout the week makes a lot of sense. I will say I don't know that I'll be able to keep up the pace that I set here in January. I probably put out more videos in this past month than I have in the past 6 or 8 months prior to that. But it's definitely been fun to experiment with some different things and try out a few series and get a sense of how putting that kind of content together would work on the channel if I chose to do it in the future. It's always nice whenever you're working on a big project, such as I am with the Nemesis Effect, to take a break every so often and knock some things out that are sort of easier to digest. One of the things about working on a really big project like a game is that you spend an awful lot of time working towards something and you don't really get to see a result or you don't get to see a finished product, sometimes for years. And there's something really satisfying about being able to just sit down at the beginning of a weekend, shoot some footage, edit all that stuff together, and come up with a nice packaged product that can be put out there and shown to the world, basically, in a couple of days. I'd say that's definitely been the big motivation for that sort of stuff showing up on the channel. Again, I'm not sure exactly how much of that I'm going to be able to do moving forward because there's always this constant battle with me between wanting to put content out here and wanting to work on my game. And as I said in previous vlogs, the game always wins. You know, the only time I really feel okay about putting out content here on the channel is if maybe I'm at a point where I'm kind of stuck with the game or scratching my head trying to figure something out and I need something to kind of take my mind off it and perhaps lead me down a different train of thought that I wouldn't have gotten to had I not diverted from what I was working on. I don't know how often that sort of thing is going to happen because when I tend to get on a roll with a project, sometimes I can go for months at a time without feeling like I need a break like this. But it's definitely been nice to spend a little extra time working on something completely unrelated and sort of cleanse the creative palette, as it were. As far as games I've been playing, well, you've pretty much seen it on the channel. Pretty much everything that I've shown video-wise has been the stuff that I've actually been playing, because honestly, that's all I've really had time to play, is the things that I've shown you guys. As far as future plans go, I'm definitely looking forward to a couple of titles in particular and a few expansion packs. I've been getting interested in Dead Effect 2, which is going to be dropping here in February at some point. Also been really looking forward to the new Talisman game, the Horus Heresy. Cautiously optimistic about The Division. I definitely need to see more about that game and get some reports from the front in terms of people I know who are going to be playing it when it drops to see if it's actually something I want to spend $60 on. And I'm also kind of looking forward to the Dying Light expansion, which is going to be dropping here shortly, although I do need to power my way through the rest of that game as soon as possible so that I'm in a good position to actually start playing said expansion, because I'm not quite finished with the main story in Dying Light, even though I've spent quite a bit of time playing through the first parts of it several times with various friends. I guess the other thing I'll mention is I am also looking forward to the next big Shadowrun Chronicles patch, which is supposed to be bringing some extra content to the game in the form of some extra repeatable missions for the end game. That looks promising. And I'm just generally psyched to play and get my hands on anything that looks intriguing over the next year. Of course, as always, work on my game will take precedent over just about anything else, whether it's playing other games or making content here or any other things that I might want to do. But for the most part, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place moving forward with the Nemesis Effect. Definitely cleared a lot of the big humps in terms of learning Unreal Engine 4 and getting comfortable with it. And I'm definitely happy to see a lot of the big bugs that have been obstacles for me in terms of the development of the game being addressed by various patches and new releases for the engine. So I'm feeling rather optimistic about the progress I should be able to make moving forward, even though at the moment we're a bit behind where I wanted to be in the overall development process. Having said all that, I think I'm going to bring this rambling nonsense of a video to a close. Hopefully you folks have enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button to let me know you enjoy this sort of thing. If you want to see more videos from me in the future, be sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.